So buy an iPad too, because this is how I took all the pictures. Welcome to Manikan. They have a hard time with agriculture and fishing. So all they can do is work for the mines, but it's gonna kill the island. And it just so happened it was raining when I went there. So I saw with my own eyes the acid. There, goes there.
Dati dito, yung mga tanim dito, yung pineapple, calamansi, at mga langka.
Ito yung sa lolo mo?
Ito yung mga pananim ng grandparents ko sa lola.
So noon marami. And that's a small one. Na old growth, na tinanim ng Diyos. Okay, and then yung dyan nakikita mo, dagat yan, kasi maliit lang yung isla. Okay, what if I were to tell you that around the island is a marine reserve? It's disgusting. It's really bad, you know? Okay, and they came to me and they want me to help them, but this is what I've learned, you know, from what the miners say, that for every tree they plant, they cut, you know, 100-year-old tree, they will plant 50 more. So they'll cut a 100-year-old tree of virgin forest, and they will plant 50 really small saplings, and I have to wait another 100 years for it to grow, and I said, never mind. All right, now the other thing they do is they plant what's known as, you know, like what Catherine was saying, the minerals are toxic. It's toxic. Okay, so if you, what the miners do is they plant what's known as colonizer trees. You know, trees which are to absorb the minerals, so they absorb it. Okay, guess what? The minerals don't disappear, they go to the tree. And what happens when the herbivores or the insects eat the tree? They die, because it's toxic. Okay, it doesn't disappear, it goes to the leaves, and when the leaves fall and decompose, and it rains, it goes to the soil, it goes to the water. It's an ecological system. My God, it's climate change. Haven't we learned our lesson? It's a domino effect. You can't just think you will do something and it won't affect the other part. Okay, this is another thing I learned. Now, people, the miners say that, Gina, God gave us the minerals. Why don't we use it for money? Why do we just leave it there? Exactly. God gave us the minerals, but it doesn't mean that if you leave them there with the stones, they're not doing anything. What I've been told by people with doctorate degrees in environmental science is that the minerals play a role. They make the rocks strong. And when the trees grow and they anchor on the rocks, and we have these amazing typhoons, and the wind blows because the trees are anchored on the rocks, then they don't go because they're anchored on the rocks. God made everything. He planned it perfectly, and we're screwing it up big time. So we take away the trees and get the minerals and then pulverize it, toxify everything, and then plant more trees. And what are those trees going to anchor on? Nothing. And when there's a typhoon, what will happen? You're killing the island big time. It's irreversible. Okay, so this is in Surigao. Okay, I want to show you this because this is, okay, I will confess that this is coming from a competing TV station, but it was on YouTube. So somebody sent it to me, and I said, YouTube, so I'm going to say, oh, it was on YouTube, public domain. It was, you remember when the NPA attacked Surigao? Okay, so right after that, GMA came out with a documentary, and then some friends sent it to me, and I just saw it a few days ago. I was just horrified. So I did an abbreviated version. So,
sa buong mundo, pangatlong Pilipinas sa ginto, pang-apat sa copper, at pang-lima pagdating sa nickel. Dahil sa mga nakatagong yamang ito, may mga nagkaka-interest na ito'y bukali, ikalakal, at pagkakitaan. Sa aming pagpunta sa Surigao del Norte, mga dump truck at alikabok ang sumalubong sa amin. Nickel ang pangunahing minimina dito na nakukuha mula sa mga iron ore mula sa bundok.
Sa unang tingin, akalain nyo na may nagkakaingin o kaya nagpapausok sa lugar na yon, pero alikabok po yan o maakyat sa hangin dahil doon sa mga pagmimina doon. Yung mga bundok na ito ay hinuhukay at yung mga nahuhukay na lupa ay diretso binababa dito sa pantalan na kanilang ginawa. Nakakarga sila sa mga dump truck at ina-unload naman dito sa mga barge na nakadaong dito. Tapos iloload ulit nila ito papunta doon sa malalaking barko na babiyahe naman papuntang China, Japan at Australia.
Isa lamang kasi ang processing plant ng nickel sa buong bansa na matatagpuan sa Palawan. Kaya mga nakukuhang mineral, inilalabas ng Pilipinas para sa ibang bansa iproseso.
At sa laki nga po ng operasyon sa lugar na ito, ang dating bundok na nakikita nyo dito sa aking likuran ay halos mapatag na ngayon.
Mistulang luha mula sa mga sugat na tinamo ng kabundukan. At ang hinagpis na ito, dumaloy na rin maging sa kabuhayan ng pamayanan.
Gaano kaganda ho itong lugar niya dati?
Maganda. Noon dati maganda. Puti ang balas. Ngayon, naging pula na. At saka, hindi na magamit sa ngayon itong dagat. Mapotik na. Dati ito ganyan. Kasi dito na kami mangita ng magkuha ng mga isda, mga sales. Pero ngayon, ano naman namin? Kitang-kita na ninyo kung mayroon pa ba mabubuhay dito.
Dating white sand ang kinatatayuan kong ito dito sa Orbisto do Claver, Surigao del Norte. Pero sa nakikita nyo po ay puro putik na itong lugar na ito at hanggang sa maabot ng inyong tanaw. Bagamat itinuturing po itong bahagi ng isang marine sanctuary dati, ito na naging itsura ngayon dahil sa walang habas na pagmimina at pagdaos-dos ng mga putik mula sa kabundukan.
Maging ang sapa na do'y paliguan at labahan ng mga katutubo, pininsala na rin daw ng laterite.
Sa dami ng putik na tumambak sa komunidad na ito ay halos masaraduhan na yung kanal na nagsisilbi nilang outlet papuntang dagat. At kung makikita nyo nga rin, yung bunganga ng dagat dito, punong-puno na rin ang putik. Para makabawas dito sa pagkakatambak ng laterite o yung putik na nanggagaling sa mga minahan, inuupahan ng may mga minahan yung mga residente dito ng 4 na piso kada sako para hukayin at isako itong mga putik na tumambak sa lugar na ito.
I took this because the miners are always telling me, Gina, you're always using old pictures. So I went to an ABS planning, I just came back, when did I come back? Yesterday. I came back yesterday and I came back by chopper. And when I was coming back the chopper, I saw all these mine areas and I said, what's that? I mean, look at that. I think that's Benguet mining. Okay, well, whatever that is. I mean, how can you see this and think it's reasonably good? Okay, and that comes from the mountains. So what happens is, so you affect the streams, you affect everything. Okay, and then this is Marinduque. You all know about Marinduque, no? It's where the tailing pond again overflowed and the acid went to the river, affected the streams, the kids got boils. Look at this, the river turned completely acidic. It affected the rice fields, the women got boils, the children got boils, and this man, his only crime was he was a fisherman. And so what happened, because of heavy arsenic poisoning, he had to have his legs amputated. So do they pay? That's the question of which Catherine was saying. So they come, and to paraphrase it in another way, they don't pay the development cost of their business. The evaluation of the mining business is purely financial. How much money comes in and how much money goes out, and that's why they make so much money. Because they don't pay the development cost, we do. Okay, are the minerals, they keep on telling me that, Gina, you need the minerals. I said, but what? The minerals are taken from our country and brought overseas and sold there, and what does our country get? 1.3% GDP. That's what we get. That's from the mining MGB statistics. 1.3% GDP and not even 0.5%, 0.37% employment. Okay, guess what? They get a 5-year tax holiday, and then all they pay is 2% excise. They pay for the process of extraction, but they don't pay for the value of the capital asset that they take from our country forever and ever and ever. They don't pay for the value of the gold, the nickel, the copper. No, they just pay for the rape. It's rape, yeah. Because we don't want it to happen. So they go there, and on top of that, they don't pay any royalty. And that's the law. We looked at it. They don't pay any royalty unless they get 40% ROI on their cost of production every year. So every year, unless they get 40% back, they don't pay. Now, you tell me if that's fair or not. It's known as the resource curse, where the countries that are rich in resources actually suffer. There are 4 reasons why there's mining here. 1, the people are poor. 2, the people are ignorant. 3, the politicians can be bought. And 4, the government has a dismal record at regulation, like really, really bad. In fact, I mean, Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told by this Englishman that there was a bill proposed in Canada, in Parliament, that the Canadian companies should be mandated to follow Canadian mining laws everywhere in the world, which means the ethics, the environmental compliances, that they are pushed to do so in their country, they have to do it everywhere else in the world. And I was told that bill was defeated.
By 6 votes. 6 votes.
The bill was defeated by 6 votes. So what does that mean? That means what the Canadian companies do here in this country and in other parts of the world, they can't do in Canada. Now you tell me if that's fair. It's not correct at all. Okay, let me show you the Philippines. This was the Philippines in 1500s. Lush, gorgeous, beautiful. Okay, by 1900s, it went down to 70%, then 55%, then 34%. By the year 2000, we only have 3% old growth. Okay, what's old growth? Old growth forest is virgin forest. It's never ever been cut, ever. Okay, people told me if you go to an old growth forest, it's different, and you're exactly right. If you go to an old growth forest, it's like noisy, it's alive and it's very eclectic. There's a tree there, the sap smells like perfume. You have plants there that are medicinal. You have, it's eclectic. It's made by the ecology. You can't raise an old growth forest and plant how many trees and think you can replicate the biodiversity that God has made for us. And so why am I so hot on Palawan? Because if you look at this, Palawan is our last remaining old growth. That's all we have left. I'm not even saying that it's mining that's done all of this. It's urbanization, it's kaingin, it's logging, it's you name it. In fact, there have been people that told me that they have not seen any country that has ravaged its resources the way the Philippines has, that has allowed the rape of its resources. So why am I so into Palawan? Because I'm saying so many people have been to Palawan. I went to, my son goes to IS, and then I said, how many people here have been to Palawan? And 100% of the people raised their hands. And my feeling is that if we can't stop the rape of an island as beautiful as this, what hope is there for the rest of the country? And rather than say stop the mining in the Philippines, let's do it in Palawan as a symbol that it should stop. All right, this is Palawan. It's an island like Sibuyan. However, it's a thin island. All right, the miners say that we'll just mine South Palawan because North Palawan is for tourism and South Palawan is for mining. And I wonder what world they're coming from when the melting of the ice caps in the North Pole is already affecting our weather here, and that's zillions of miles away. And you reasonably think you can mine and devastate one part of the island and not affect the other part? Hello? Like, the Rapu-Rapu, I was giving a talk in St. Benilde, and then after that talk, one of the instructors came up to me and he was literally choking. He wanted to cry. And then he said, Gina, now I understand. I live in Bagakay. Bagakay is an island near Rapu-Rapu. It's not even Rapu-Rapu, it's an island there. And he was wondering, now I understand. I used to swim those waters and we had a lot of fish. And now they've been affected. Which means to say you affect one island and you affect the island nearby and you affect the island nearby. Okay, so I wanted to see this south of Palawan, which they said is good for mining because it's not beautiful anyway. So let me show you what it looks like.